Sargent, and I'm back today with another video. In today's video, this is a controversial one, I am trying out my very first Jeffree Star Cosmetics, the Conspiracy Palette. I should mention this is a collab with Dawson. I talk a lot about my thoughts on Jeffree Star in this video. I've also swatched this entire palette, so if you guys want to see the swatches and my thoughts, then just keep watching. Before we get started on this video, I wanted to just talk about a few of my thoughts around this palette and the Jeffree Star brand just in general. I want to let you guys know that I contemplated not even making this video. Just to be super real with you guys, I purchased this palette back when it first came out. So when was that? Probably been hanging on to this palette for a few months at least, whenever this palette originally launched. I haven't used it. I'll show you guys the inside of it. I haven't used it. I haven't made any videos with it, and I haven't been wearing it on my own time. As you can see, pretty much all of these pans are completely untouched. I did touch a couple of them when I first got the palette just to see the consistency, but I haven't used this palette. So why is that? Why have I shied away from making a video featuring Jeffree Star Cosmetics? Obviously, he is a very controversial person. It's kind of a controversial brand. Wherever you land on Jeffree Star is completely fine, but for me personally, I shied away from using his products because I just didn't really like him as a person. Is he entertaining? Absolutely. You know, he's fun to watch, but I found him to be just not that genuine, and some of the things that he was saying versus the things that he was actually doing just didn't add up to me. Most specifically with his makeup brand. A couple years ago, I switched over to cruelty-free beauty, so I only feature items on my channel that are cruelty-free. I found him to be very contradictory because he touts his brand as being vegan and cruelty-free and uses that as a major selling point, but in the same breath wearing fur coats and using non-cruelty-free brands in his videos, featuring Chanel and YSL and all of these really high brand names in his videos that are 100% not cruelty-free. They are sold in China. They are tested on animals. So I found that to be really troublesome. I kind of just made a mental note right then and there that I didn't want to support his brand. I didn't want to purchase his items or give him my money. So why then did I purchase this palette? You're probably asking. I decided to purchase this palette because I'm a big Dawson fan, like I'm sure a lot of you guys are. I really love Dawson. I think he's a really genuine, kind-hearted, good person, and I watched the whatever 8, 9, 10-part documentary that he did on making this palette, and so I felt invested in the process. I was really excited for him, and I wanted to support him with my dollars. I wanted him to feel the love, basically. You know, it ended up being a massive, massive launch. I guess a lot of people felt the way that I did and really wanted to support him, and the palette sold out in seconds. I was one of the lucky few that ended up getting this palette, and then I just kind of sat on it because of what I've just explained. So I hope that that helps to clear up a little bit of my thought process behind this palette. I have heard really good things about his makeup brand, about the quality of Jeffree Star Cosmetics, so I am excited to swatch these for you guys and see how they perform and see if I like them. But I just wanted to be completely transparent with you guys on my thoughts on this brand and why I was really hesitant to even make this video. With all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at this palette. This is what it looks like. The color story is kind of all over the place, which I like. There's a lot of different options in this palette. It looks like this top row is full of a lot of nice neutral colors. Then you have a row here of bright pops of color, and then this bottom row are kind of deeper, more sultry colors. The thing that really drew me to this palette is the color story. I think even though it's a little bit like disjointed, I really like the endless ways that you could approach this palette. It's really interesting to me. I think they did a really good job on the packaging. It totally reminds me of Shane Dawson with the whole conspiracy vibe. You know, it has the spiral on top and the triangle and like the raised dome look. It does have the trunk case openings, and it feels like really good sturdy packaging, which is nice. Has a really large mirror in it, and then all of the pans are stamped with different images, which is super fun. I thought I would go ahead and swatch all of these colors for you guys, just so we could see together what the colors look like. I'm going to be swatching on my arm here, so hopefully you guys can see everything. The first color in this palette is called Ranch, and this looks like a metallic creamy white shade. That looks like it could make a really cute highlight. The second shade is called My Pills. Looks like that. This looks like a nude. You almost can't even see it because it is almost the same color as my skin, maybe a little bit darker. All right, the next shade is called Tanacon, and this is a brown camel color. The next shade is called Diet Root Beer, and this is a medium brown. The next shade is called Just a Theory, and this is a metallic beige. The next one is called Spiraling. This is a metallic chocolate brown. Hopefully you guys can see these swatches okay over my tattoos. Okay, so that is the top row, all done. I'm gonna move to swatching like right here. The next color is called Conspiracy, and this is a green gold metallic. The next one is called Pigment, which is a medium toned pink. The next one is called Food Videos, which is a fluorescent yellow. The next one is Trisha, which is a metallic hot pink. The next one is Cheese Dust, which is a bright, vibrant orange. The next one is called Flaming Hot, which is a matte, bright red. Okay, and that is all of the second row. We'll go ahead and turn again, and I'll swatch right here for you guys. The next shade is called What's the Tea, and this is a pastel turquoise. Next is Diet Cola, which is a really vibrant metallic silver. Next is Not a Fact, which is a deep berry color. Next is Sleep Paralysis, which is a metallic taupe. Next is Illuminati, which is a deep metallic emerald green. And finally, this is My Rides here, which is a matte black. These are swatches from the entire palette. This is the first row, second row, third row. Okay, a couple of things that I noticed just right off from swatching these. Most of them feel really creamy to the touch, and they seem to swatch really good, like one swipe coverage, so they do seem very pigmented. There was one shade in here that seemed a little dry, or, you know, I kind of had to rub my finger in it a few times to get the color to come off. And that was this fluorescent yellow one here called Food Vibes. I do plan on using that one today on my eyes, so it'll be interesting to see how it performs. The other thing I wanted to point out were these 3 shades right here, Trisha, Cheese Dust, and Flaming Hot. These did stain my finger. You can kind of see my finger's a little bit red. I would just keep that in mind if you guys are gonna wear those colors on your eyes. Just be aware that your eye is probably gonna be stained the next day. So with all of that being said, let's go ahead and dip into this palette and see what I think. I'm gonna start out with this shade right here called Diet Root Beer and my small little flat fluffy brush. And I'm gonna start by just packing that in my crease. I like to first start by stamping down the shape that I want. Find that if you press the eyeshadow in first, that you get a lot less fallout than if you just put it on and start blending right away. It has a tendency to like cloud the product off the brush, and then that kind of cloud of eyeshadow particles falls on your cheek and you end up with fallout. So I think that this way I've been finding works a little bit better for me if I do it like this first. And as you can see, I have no fallout. So now that I have that down, I am gonna just blend that line a little bit. I've only just dipped in once also. I have not gone back in a second time. And this shadow is very pigmented. I mean, I don't know that I'm even gonna dip in again. So right off the bat, I haven't dipped in again. It was just once. I'm really happy with how this blended out. I don't have any other shade down to blend this into. It blended out all on its own. Literally one dip and 0 fallout. So straight off the bat, I mean, it seems like it's a good product. The pan right here does have some kick up in it, so these do seem like really, really soft eyeshadows. Okay, next I'm going to go in with this shade right here called Tanacon. I'm just going to blend out the shade that we just put down. And again, one dip and that blended out really effortlessly. Those 2 colors blended together really nicely. The same thing with that Tanacon shade. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but there is quite a bit of like loose powder laying on top of the pan. Again, I just think it's because these shadows are incredibly soft. Okay, now I'm gonna go back in with that Diet Root Beer color. I'm just gonna deepen up this crease a little bit. Okay, next I'm going to use my flat, dense brush, and I am going to go in with What's the Tea, and I'm going to lay this down on the inner half of my eyelids. So the color pigment on this shade too is pretty good. I just put a second layer down, and you can definitely build this up as well, but I'm pretty impressed with even just the first go was pretty pigmented. I really, really like this color actually. This would be really beautiful as just like a big wash with only this shade all over your eye. It would be gorgeous. Okay, on the second half of the lid, I'm gonna go back in with that Diet Root Beer color and just fill in the second portion. So I'm actually pretty impressed with the pigmentation, if you guys hadn't noticed, with this product. I just picked up a little bit on my flat brush and just kind of pressed it down, and totally opaque. I don't think that I need to go back in. I am going to use my little fluffy brush here and just blend the seam of these 2 colors together, just to soften up that line a little bit. Okay, next I'm going to be using that Root Beer shade, and I'm going to be pressing this into my lower lash line. And I will blend this out in just a sec. That went down really easily. I usually will put down a eyeliner beforehand before putting any powder down, but these have just been adhering to the eye so well that I didn't think that I needed it, and I didn't. These are so creamy. They're just sticking to my skin really well, and they also blend really nicely. Okay, so next up I'm gonna go in with this berry shade right here called Not a Fact, and I am going to use a flat angled brush, and I am going to stamp on a cat eye using this color. And I'm just connecting that up to where the blue starts. Okay, so that is really pretty. I am curious to see what happens if you wet this, so I might test this out by wetting my brush with some setting spray, getting this a little bit wet, and then dipping back into that color and kind of stamping back down over this. Okay, so I just darkened it up a little bit. Okay, next up I am going to go in with this Food Videos color and my pencil brush, and I am going to put that in my inner corners. And I'm really curious to see how this color is going to transfer onto my skin, because as I mentioned earlier, it felt a little bit dry and chalky when I swatched it. Okay, so it totally doesn't apply dry or chalky at all, which is really great news. Just with one pass through, definitely deposited the color. It's super vibrant and really fluorescent looking. Okay, so I ended up dipping into that color twice. I patted it down originally. It had tons of pigment. I blended it out a little bit and then just dotted a little bit more right on top of what I had just put down. It's very bright and vibrant, and it definitely stands out, so I'm really pleased with this color as well. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop on some mascara now. I am using Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir mascara. Okay, I also went ahead and popped on some lashes on the second half of my lashes. They're basically just like short, very short lashes that are wispy and angled up. They're pretty old, and they were just sitting in a box outside of their original case, so I'm not really sure what brand they are, but you could literally make this style of lashes by taking your favorite lashes that angle out on the back end and then just cut them in half and just apply them to the second half of your eye. It would be really easy to just recreate the same look. So I think that does it for the eye look. I do really want to try out this ranch color right here as highlight. Hopefully it's not too pigmented. So that does have a pretty severe white cast on it. I think that this would be a little pigmented to use as a highlight. So I'm gonna go in with my powder brush and kind of tone this down a little bit. Okay, so tone down, it is nice. I think if you want to try this, you should be very light-handed. Okay, so for lipstick today, I decided to be a little bit clever, shall we say, and I wanted to use a Kat Von D lipstick just to be silly. If you know, you know. So I am going to be using Bow and Arrow today on my lips. This is just a nice brownie beige neutral tone. That completes the look today. All right, thoughts on the controversial Conspiracy Palette. Well, controversial for me anyways. You guys saw the video, you guys saw how the colors performed. I have to be just really honest and say that despite my feelings for Jeffree Star as an individual, I am actually really impressed with the quality of this eyeshadow. Everything went on beautifully. It was super pigmented, it blended out, it was really easy to work with. The colors blended together seamlessly. There wasn't any like patchy, weird colors that were hard to work with. The one shade that I was anticipating having problems with, that fluorescent yellow Food Videos color, I didn't at all. So I am extremely pleasantly surprised with this palette. Will I be purchasing Jeffree Star cosmetics in the future? Probably not. And the reason for that is what I explained in the beginning of this video. The only reason why I purchased this palette was because of Shane Dawson. Just based on the performance of this palette, it's not enough for me to spend my hard-earned dollars on supporting Jeffree Star Cosmetics. Unfortunately, it makes me a little bit sad because after using this palette, I would love to try out his other palettes, but I just can't do it. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you guys support Jeffree Star? Do you not? I know that there's a lot of other beauty companies out there that are very controversial. Is it fair to judge an entire beauty company based on their owner, or should they just stand alone, only being judged for the cosmetics themselves? You guys will have to decide for yourselves, but I would love to hear your thoughts on it. With that said, I think this is going to do it for me and this video. Please don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming videos. You can also follow me if you'd like over on Instagram at Sargent Pepper. I hope that all of you guys are having a great day. Please stay safe and happy, and I will see you guys in my next video.